Welcome to part 5 of this commercial to residential series, converting a commercial shop into 4 residential flats based in West London in Acton. We're starting off on the top floor flat, which is the studio flat. It's about 40 square meters in size. We have a minimum size requirement of 37 square meters, so it just about goes above that requirement. We're still awaiting the planning permission from Ealing Council. It's been about 6 months since we actually put that planning application in. We're trying to chase them by including in the councillors who are involved in the application, as well as the head of planning. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that does get approved soon. We did get a general indication that it should be approved, but we won't put in the final kitchen until it gets finally approved. In the worst case scenario, the backup option is that we still keep it as a duplex flat, and we've customized and made sure that we have the utilities and everything separated for the 4 flats should we get the approval, or we keep it as a duplex flat. If this does become the 4 flats, the 4th flat itself, it would be a really beautiful flat with panoramic views across London. It's got very nice views where you can see the Shard, some of the Gherkin, the other buildings in the city, which is really nice. It's dual aspect, so it's got the windows at the front, windows at the back. We try to maximize the space in the property and make it as luxurious as possible. We're coming to the final stages where we're putting the second stage, second fix items in. So we start off with the bathrooms, where we've put kind of like a black luxury kind of copper style, hotel style vibes in there, where we put those tiles there on the wall and the floors, 60 by 60 because the size is quite small. On the larger bathrooms downstairs, you'll see we put 120 by 60, which are the larger tiles, which will mean it's a little bit more spacious, so you can feel it feels a lot bigger when you put these larger tiles. On this floor itself, we've laid the room out as such so that where you're standing right now, you're looking at the kitchen over there. In this corner, you've got your bed where the sockets have been placed, and then kitchen. And then on this corner, you've got your TV area where there's going to be a media wall type of thing, hopefully. And then in this corner, you'll have your sofa area. And then, as I said before, you've got your dual aspect windows with the tilt and turn windows, and the views that look over the skyline of London. Over here in the kitchen area, the way we've laid it out, sometimes in apartments you might want to put your sink underneath the window because it looks out the garden. In the top floor flat, there's no garden area, so in a lot of these modern flats these days, it's just going to be a bare wall. But with the wall, we're going to try to make a nice feature with where the splash back would be something like glass, or maybe we'll put that splash back as kind of a marble finish. So it'll have some effect, and when you're in your kitchen area, you do feel like actually being there itself. So over here, you'd be cooking with the cooker and the extractor fan. The extraction is built into the ceiling, so it automatically goes out, which is a really good thing, and it is hidden. Then also over this side, we've got your sink, washing machine, dishwasher. So everything is all here. It's about 2.5 by 2.5 meters in an L-shaped kind of style. You can see the wiring has been done everywhere. So the first fixed wiring has been built in. So you've got your fire alarm system, you've got your intercom system. All of the lighting in this room will be both spotlights as well as the LED strip lighting for the ambient lights around. In the bathroom at the back, I'm just going to show you. It's still relatively spacious, where we've got a wide 120 width shower. So when you're standing in here, it does feel spacious. So there'll be the sliding door here. With having the black taps and the black finishings, mixer taps, that will add to that effect of that kind of hotel vibes with this similar kind of style. There's still a lot of natural light coming in because in all of the bathrooms, we've kept like large windows over here. Regarding the placement of where everything goes, it makes sense we put the toilet underneath the sink, because if you put the toilet underneath the window, if you have the sink, you don't want to put the sink underneath the window, because you want to have a mirror cabinet for you to look at yourself, or so you have something. But that's just like the norm. And over here, that's why we put the sink and the mirror cabinet over here. It's got that LED kind of light which will be around it, as well as the shaver sockets as well. So pretty much the top floor flat, it doesn't have any outside space, but we'll move down to the second floor flat, which has got outside space. So I just wanted to add that with the paint, we did one base coat of this mist coat. So they take a spray of this Leyland paint and then they spray it all the way across throughout the whole property, and that covers the ceilings, the walls, the hallway, everything. On top of that, there's going to be 2 more layers of final coat. So the base coat is called the primer, and that one just makes sure that, because when you have plastered walls like this, when the walls are brand new plasterboarded, when you put the paint on it, it does absorb a lot of the paint. So you need to add, you need to add 2 more coats of paint on top. As you come into this hallway area, you can see we've provisioned for the electric water tank as well as the fuse box, so that it will be the pressure for the showers will be good in the top floor flat, because it's got its own water tank for each floor. Some developers would keep just a small combi boiler because these are small flats and they can quickly heat it up, but having the extra water from the tank keeps the hot water hot throughout the day, and also make sure that the pressure is also good. So that's one bonus about having the water tanks provisioned, as well as it also comes within the provision for the storage, because every flat has to have its own storage space. So somebody could put storage there, and also they could potentially put a dryer or a washing machine in that storage space as well. As you come into the hallway area, this is a fire protected escape route, where we have a automated opening vent, AOV, which in the case of a fire would automatically open. Some people put sprinkler systems, which are just automatically on the fire, the sprinkler system comes on. In our case, we haven't needed for it, with building control signing off this AOV. Obviously fire is very important. We've only got 4 flats in this block. It's a relatively small development, so that's why I think this was what was approved. And yeah, we've ensured with fire as well, all of the doors will be FD30, means that it's got fire door 30-minute rating, and there's one FD60 for the basement one as well. But otherwise, most of them are all FD30 doors, which will be put in the property. Regarding the finishing on the floors, we're going to be putting another layer on top of the plywood. We're going to be putting a layer of cement board, and then another layer of SP101, which is this kind of like underlay, which will be going underneath the final finishing of the laminate flooring that we're going to be putting on, which is likely going to be herringbone, like a kind of oak colored herringbone. And then we're going to have the kitchens are going to be gloss white with a quartz worktop on top. So yeah, now we can go through to the brand new staircase, which has been obviously fitted, and the width of the staircase has also been improved so that we've got enough space to kind of bring your furniture around, and it's all brand new as well, so it's going to be nice to walk on. So as you can see, the windows have been fitted throughout the whole property, obviously. So window, AOV on the top, and then we'll come down to the second floor flat. So this is the entrance to the second floor flat, third flat. Each door in the entrances has to be 33 inches in size. Each door in the internal walls are 30 inches each, for like the kitchen and the bedrooms. For the bathrooms, they're 27 inches in size. Regarding how they open, the ones for the bathrooms has to open outwards. The ones for the bedrooms and the kitchens, they can open either way. And as you come into the property, we're going to have a chandelier to come in. In regards to the flooring and stuff, as I mentioned, we're putting in this herringbone oak coloured flooring that's going to be going throughout the property. There's going to be a slightly larger size cupboard as you walk in over here. which is going to be potentially for somebody to put their dryer if they want to have an extra dryer in there, which is useful for drying their clothes. Obviously, there will be the balcony area as well, which we can have a look at. And we'll start off in the kitchen area. So if you come in through to the kitchen, this is where you've got your open plan living room kitchen. As I said before, usually you have your sink underneath the window inside kind of like country homes. But now in the modern flats, sometimes we just do a run of a kitchen all the way along the wall. In this scenario, we put it in the small corner over there on the side so we can maximize the wall space. So we can have a media wall over here with the dining table, sofa over there, and then some extra space. Potentially, if this room wanted to be split into an extra bedroom later by whoever buys this place, or if we decide to do that later, we can put a partition wall here. It's got its own separate window for ventilation, and it's got a separate heating, so the radiator on this side, radiator on that side, and separate lighting, so the switches are on each wall. So one switch there, so you can operate it from both sides. I think that's the smart thing to do. If you want to maximize the rents, some people convert the property from a 1-bedroom flat into 2-bedroom flats. This is something I've been doing, which is a good strategy to uplift the rental value as well as the sales value. But as per the minimum space standard requirements for new builds, you have to have that minimum space. But when they're older builds, there's that minimum space requirement does not apply any further. You can make it into 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, many bedrooms as you want, so long as it meets like kind of building regs standards, not planning standards as such. But you don't require planning for those things. In terms of the ceiling heights in here, it's very good, 2.6 meters high. Ground and first floor, ceiling heights even better. Ambient lighting throughout, so you've got we were thinking about maybe doing color changing, but because of the color changing ones, generally speaking, they don't last very long, so we might just keep these ones as just a plain white LED lighting. In terms of the windows, the panels are half panel opening up and down. The vents as well, they're extra powerful, so for ventilation inside, when we close the windows, these vents will open, and I think the rating, quote me on, I think about 5,000 meters squared of ventilation on the top, 5,000 over there, which is 10,000 overall for the room. And that's a minimum requirement. You have to check what type of vents you're putting in to make sure there's enough for the room, because there may be a closed window strategy for ventilation purposes, and some people use this kind of other HVAC systems as well. But for us in this scenario, we've just done this more powerful vents in the windows. I'll come and take you through to the rest of the flat. So we'll go to the bathroom. The first floor flat and second floor flat, it's a mirror image. The tiles we chose are these Leparto tiles, which have got a kind of shiny finish to it. So it's a bit more shiny, so it's got a bit of flat. Instead of going with the gloss, the gloss is a bit maybe slippery, but where we have this Leparto, it's like still got that stickiness, so it's, you won't fall on the floor. And it's same on the wall and the floor, so it makes the room feel a lot bigger. And these wall and floor tiles are both 1.2 by 60, which just gives it that grander feel. The color wise, we did a lighter color for the bathrooms, for the bathtub rooms, and for the shower rooms we went for that darker color. It's kind of neutral. You can't really go wrong at the moment with this. Kind of this very light amount of veininess in that tiles. In terms of the finishing, you could go with like a goldish trim or goldish taps, that kind of thing. But I think because those things do wear over time, with the usage and the lime scale, the color does change. So just going with a simple chrome finish is also a good thing for tenants and for long-term usage. And then in terms of where the rest of the stuff goes, we've got the toilet over here, sink, and mirror cabinet over there, and then the radiator on this wall. So you've got that window that opens here for ventilation. Obviously there will be an extractor fan as well for the bathroom. So we'll now take you through to the main master bedroom, which is nicely segregated into the other side of the flat, so that it means that they won't really hear the noise from this side when people are maybe entertaining. If they've got guests over, that bedroom is kind of segregated away. So yeah, we'll take you through to the balcony area, which is nearly finished. So it's 1 meter width. It's done, I think, quite nicely in the sense that it's got this glass on the sides, it's got glass and surround. Whereas some people do what more of a railing style, metal railing style finish. The glass one, I think, looks a bit more luxurious. It gives that feeling of openness as well, because it's like all see-through, whereas the railing feels a bit more like a prison. So I feel I prefer that, you know, glass finish. And in terms of the ventilation for the room, obviously you've got a nice full opening door and also a window that opens as well. Now, in terms of designing the bedroom itself, where the actual cupboard goes, the wardrobe goes, it could be freestanding, or we could put a built-in wardrobe over here. If the buyer decides to, they could put it here and then put their bed after that in the middle of the room and put the built-in wardrobe over here, or they could fit their bed in this corner here like this, maximize the space. Obviously the bed would be wall to wall, which people maybe don't like as much because you can't get into the beds from the sides, but you could do it wall to wall and then have your wardrobe over there on that side. As I said, mist coat has been put on. There's 2 more coats of paint to go on top of that. So we'll now move on to the first floor. So when you come into this hallway area, there'll be emergency lighting on all the walls, which is going to be fitted, as well as for the staircase we're going to use probably a full width carpet. Some people are doing these narrow width carpet runners, which looks nice, but for, you know, practicality purposes, the people's shoes will be walking along the sides and then it would stain the actual stairs themselves. So doing the full width, there's a kind of newish kind of design where you can have the taper going around the sides and then have the herringbone going up the middle. That's something I'm thinking about doing on the carpets over here, and so it will still look luxury as well, but not be as harsh for wear and tear purposes. So yeah, we can go down the stairs to the first floor flat. So in the first floor flat, it's a mirror image of the second floor flat, just that the ceiling heights are a lot bigger. So on the ceiling heights, you've got roughly 3 meter ceiling heights. Yeah, I'm quite tall, 6'2", but I can no way reach that. So in terms of grandness, it will look really good. In terms of finish on the kitchens, we're going to do taller ladder units for these ones, so that obviously within reachable height. Some people do full height ceiling, but we're just going to do within reachable height and slightly larger than normal. Otherwise this room space will not look in proportion. So it has to be proportionate to the size of the room. So that's why we'll do it maybe a little bit higher than what a normal kitchen height would be. I think 2.5, 2.6 meters high. Over here, the slight difference as well here on this first floor flat is ceiling height plus the windows. The windows, you've got this fire escape window. This is 1.1 meter high. So in the case of an emergency, you can jump out, right? So you can, in theory, you can jump out this window. And in terms of the height, you can jump down without any issue where it's only about 3.5 meters down to the ground. So in the case of fire, that's why we put the height of this opening over here. Otherwise, if it looks like the other flats, you could put the opening half and half. It'll be too high up to actually jump out safely. So this is the main reason for that safety feature to be over here. They're customized windows. When you're making the windows, you make sure that you're meeting building regs. In terms of sign-offs and building control, they've come on a few times. We've also got structural warranty sign-offs as well. In terms of their sign-offs, the final completion, once everything is fitted in, that's when they'll come to give their final completion statement. So we're just waiting for the second fix stuff to come in, kitchens, flooring, lighting, and then we'll call them in to kind of do their final inspections. Fingers crossed, there shouldn't be too much issue, maybe a few changes here or there. So same thing in this property, same thing in this flat. The difference is the size of the balcony on this flat is slightly bigger. It's got a 2 meter size balcony, whereas the upstairs one is 1 meter in size. Otherwise, it's a mirror image. So we'll come through, have a look at the bathroom anyway. So as you can see, the membrane on the ground is waterproof, so it protects the floor, and then they put the tiles on top of that, and you can see the tiles are all fitted on the walls over here. Obviously here, ceiling height's massive, the windows are massive, so that's another big difference in terms of the size of the space. Humongous bathroom in terms of the height of the room, which feels really, really grand. And then we'll take you to the final bit of the bedroom. So we're here in the bedroom, and now you can see mist coat has been done. Now the balcony has also been done. There, possibly this step is a little bit higher than I was hoping it for it to be, but we might have to put one step in, so then it's nice and easy to kind of go out. The reason this kind of thing happened is because there had to be a platform above the flat roof, so that the metal frame for the balcony had to go a little bit higher. So in that sense, that's maybe somewhat of a mistake or something we should have probably improved on, but it's still not too high. I can still walk out comfortably. So you can see that you've got, you know, your glass that's all been fitted here on this floor, and the size of it's big enough to put a kind of small table and chairs if you decided to, so it will help with marketability for somebody who wants to have some outside space. And it's quite nice, you know. It's also nice, the sun sets this side of the house, so you can see that the sun is coming down in the evening time, so it's really nice. Then we'll come down to the ground floor flat. As you enter the flat, we're going to be showing the communal area. This is the communal area for all the flats. There's a small electric cupboard that's been fitted here for the 3-phase meter, which means there's a more powerful connection for all of the flats, which should have enough wattage or amps for each flat to be able to have enough electricity to suffice for, especially where you've got electric radiators and electric heating and electric hot water. So that's why we had to pay the UK Power Networks to install this new 3-phase meter. They had to dig up that front part of the property and fit a new line over there. So the meters will be here, the fire alarm system will be here, the intercom system will be here, and can be a storage area as well. Made this specifically wider for the kind of nice feel, and this is all kind of one straight line, so it also looks nicer, so it feels open. And obviously ceiling heights humongous for the ground floor. This could have been updated, but you know, in terms of keeping this vibe, it does feel really, really grand. It's like the show home of the flat is the ground floor flat. It's going to be the best flat on the whole development because of its size, because of the private garden, because of the ceiling heights, and yeah, just the features it will have in that ground floor flat. It will be the best flat in the sense that the width, you don't have to climb up the stairs. It will be having the biggest open plan living room, kitchen, and overall it will be the best flat. So come through, we'll see the entrance. So again, this is 33 inches in width, so for someone who's potentially disabled, they can also go through and fit comfortably with that wheelchair access, for example. Then we'll come in this side. We've got the still messy. It's got all the bathroom kind of purchases that we've done, so they're fitting the bathrooms right now, so all this kind of stuff is there. But this room size is spacious, going to be the master bedroom. The front window, still we're waiting for planning to prove that if we do block it up, put a window at the front, or whether we do decide to keep it and just obscure the window and maybe put this kind of shutter type of window so that you can have internal privacy, so you can open and close, but it'll be across the whole window. So we might do that if we don't get planning for converting it into a separate window. Otherwise, this room, really spacious, really high ceilings, and they started with painting the top floor. That's why these walls haven't been painted yet, and also it's got the, you know, stuff inside the room as well. So obviously they didn't want to paint inside this room. They left this room till last, especially because in case we want to block this whole window up and then put a new plasterboard on it, they didn't want to block this window up. But just in case, that's why they didn't start painting this room. They left this room till last. Otherwise, we'll go to the other two bedrooms, the other bedroom on the other side, and those rooms have been painted. So yeah, we'll go through there. This is the second bedroom, where it's still big enough for a small double, depending on how you lay it out. But obviously it's got the nice big window looking out onto the garden, double opening with the vents. Got the only one vent here because that's what's required for the ventilation for the room. And it's coming together. So we'll now move on to the bathroom area and the kitchen area. Finally, we're here in the open plan living room kitchen. This is the this whole flat has got gas within it, so it's going to have this boiler, which is going to be on the wall over here. Then the kitchen's going to be the largest kitchen, it's going to be all the way across that wall. In this one, we will have the sink underneath the window looking out onto the garden, which is more traditional and obviously more nice. So the kitchen is the largest. We were considering doing an island, but because the width of the property, the width of the extension isn't wide enough for it to have a comfortable area for having a nice, you can half and half it. So if you put halfway through, you put the island, and then half that side you put the living area, half that side you put the kitchen area. But because of the size, the width is not yet wide enough. You need 6 meters, but we've only got 5. So 5 didn't warrant it, so that's why we kept the kitchen L-shaped here. A medium wall over there, and sofa area over there. So yeah, one of the biggest features of this is that we've got the outside space in the garden. Now we're planning to make this a landscape garden where you're going to have the patio area coming up to here roughly, and then all the way around is going to have patio area. At the back you're going to have the astroturf. So in terms of privacy wise, we'll probably put fencing going all the way around the back as well, just so you feel, you know, enclosed and safe in the block as well. So obviously there's a lot of building rubble stuff here that all needs to be cleared, but once it's done, it will look like a nice spacious garden. In terms of like costs of doing this kind of thing, you know, the tiles will be because we're using the same company that we got the bathroom tiles from for the garden as well. We'll use the same tiles company, and then the landscaping of the garden, potentially we might put some lighting features as well outside, which will also add value. If I just show you from, if you come this side and have a look at the property from this side, you can see the French double doors. You know, this was an added feature which we were originally not going to do. We're going to have a single door, but this extra French double doors really just makes it feel a little bit more spacious. And then you can see the windows for the kitchen over there, so it's very bright, bringing a lot of light into the property. Obviously on the top, on the ground floor extension, some people put a skylight into their extension, but I don't like those skylights because generally you can have a lot of leaks that happen from skylights, because that's where there may be some gaps, and you know, from flat roofs that's a very common issue. So I think it's better to have the natural light coming in from all aspects. We've got this side and that side over there. So yeah, we're kind of now coming to the end of the whole development. We've had agents come and value the property. One's called Life Residential, another one's called City Deal. One's a bit more for commercial agent, one's a bit more for residential agent. So we're considering options over there. We also had you know, potentially marketing it off plan, but we need to have the CGIs done for that. So they're going to be doing the CGIs, so we're going to have the drawings for those as well. But coming to the end of the project, we're going to try to sell these units. Fingers crossed it all goes well. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the final completion. We'll do one more part series on this to show the final completion, hopefully next month. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, thoughts, And if you want to come on site and have a look yourselves, welcome to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching.